Welcome back to the channel. These levels right. Hold up. All right. Coach Greg Adams versus Andrew Wilson. Debated. And a lot of people doing reactions on it. So we're going to do this one live. Because I thought it was funny as hell. Personally. I thought it was funny as hell. I think Greg Adams made some great points. And really his message, Coach Greg Adams, his whole message is his answer. All right? His whole message is his answer. You're either going to live in reality and what's actually going on right now and deal with it the way it is in real time, or you just going, like he said, like hope is not a strategy. Since when has hope ever been a strategy in winning in life? We can hope all we want to. I hope $1 million get wired to my account tomorrow. Is that a strategy for me to move forward? Not me. Not me. We're gonna get into it real quick in a minute. Do me a favor, hit the like button on your way in. If you found this channel, you could probably relate. All right. All right, let's get it. I'm gonna start right from the beginning of the debate. I'm gonna start right from the beginning because I want to focus on the marriage part. The debate was, is marriage worth it? That's what the debate was. It went off into some other shit, but initially, that's what the debate was for. All right.
Dude, like what was the
Coach Greg's in the suit?
No, we're gonna start. Hold on.
What's it? Joe, calm down. Church, the structure.
Off, you guys ready?
Yep.
All right.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're good.
Put a one in the chat if you can hear the audio.
Guys, finally getting started. Thanks for being patient. I know there was some delays. We got Andrew here versus Coach Greg Adams.
Put a one in the chat if you can hear the audio.
We're going to talk about today, is marriage worth it for men in the West? So let's get into some opening statements. Who wants to start off?
Yeah, man, marriage is a great institution. It was an institution that built the community of America. Most of the better communities that have safety, good children, good schools are typically centered around marriage. However, marriage has not progressed to the point where men could be safe legally, and a lot of men have experienced tremendous damage, collateral damage as a result, and it has led to broken families, a lot of broken hearts, simply because the laws are not positioned to benefit both people in a divorce. Therefore, you have no fault divorce. You have opportunities for women to use the courts against men. And as a result, men have seen 1, 2, and 3 generations of men getting harmed, their grandfathers, their fathers, their uncles, their brothers getting harmed by this. So Generation Z men are not positioning themselves for a positive marriage. So at this particular point, if someone asked me, would I recommend marriage for them, and they were in a certain position in life, they weren't established, I would say no. There's no benefit for the person to get married today.
Now, really, the debate is done right there. It's not done because we're saying that Greg Adams is just right. That's not why we're saying. That's not why we're saying it's done. Because if you watch the debate, they got off into what can we do to fix the situation. The question of the debate was, is marriage worth it? That was the question of the debate. Is marriage worth it? All right? And if you're living in real time in these conditions, with the way society is, with the way the family court laws are against men, it's a real simple answer. It's a real simple answer. This is a solution in real time. Women tell men every day how much they don't want them. This is what women tell men. They show them what they're going to do in the end. It's going to start out with butterflies. It's going to end in paperwork. It's always going to end in the court. Anytime, especially when you put the state in the middle. When you put the state in the middle, it depends if you have a good wife and y'all make the same amount of money, then you have. Hey, listen. It's always going to be good in the beginning, man. What do we actually see in real life in real time? Don't marry ungodly women. But guess what? Even in the book, the woman is going to deceive God. She's going to deceive man. There's no way around that. It tells you in that book. All right. And when it comes to the whole black community thing, I'm gonna let them get into it. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Let's get in the algorithm.
Got it. Your response, Andrew?
Yeah, I didn't hear any anti-marriage arguments. I heard anti-divorce arguments. So I'm with you on divorce, 100%.
There's only one way to avoid divorce. There's really only one way. Once you enter that situation with the state, that's it. All right? Who that Drew? Not worth the risk. Reward, been through it, never again. Hey, listen, I share that same sentiment, bro. I share the same sentiment.
Nope.
The juice ain't worth the squeeze. The juice is not worth the squeeze in the end. For that small amount of time that y'all gonna have these butterflies when you see each other, all right? For that small amount of time, you're gonna have that butterflies. The sex gonna be good. That's gonna be in the beginning. There's always a phase. Everything is in phases. Everything is in phases. Yes. He said yes. He just said marriage is good, but guess what? Until when? What have we seen? I agree. Listen, I agree. Marriage can be good, right? But guess what? Monogamy is an illusion, and all relationships are time sensitive. I'm not here to argue that. Everybody talking about how marriage is good. Name me, for the people who have not married, most of y'all can't even name the last person y'all was in a relationship with.
Nope.
Right? Because it's in phases. The women you're gonna be dealing with in your teens and 20s, It's not going to be the women you're going to be dealing with in your 30s and 40s. If you're into these monogamous relationships, which are an illusion. And nobody can argue that it's time sensitive.
Nope.
Nobody can argue that.
Dream over.
And
I guess we agree.
but it's a good thing that the topic isn't on divorce, it's on marriage. And it seems like you agree with my proposition then. And the proposition is that marriage, quote, is a great institution.
Yep.
And that right now your concern is that men can't be safe in marriage, but that's not actually what you're saying. You're not saying men can't be safe in marriage. They can. You're saying that they may not be safe in divorce. So I have a counter proposition for you. My counter proposition is, what if it's the case that you can use religious marriage institutions without the state? And then we add the ecclesiastical structure of the marriage. That's what always kept them together anyway, before the state was ever involved. So what if instead we use the ecclesiastical church, the structure of the old churches? That would be Catholicism.
How they going to get men back in church? 85% of the population in church is women. How are you going to get men back in church? That's not the direction that it's going in. How are you going to do it with all the influences they got?
And orthodoxy, where you see the lowest divorce rates, because the community puts pressure on the women to act right. That's what they do. Right now, the state applies no pressure on women to act right? You can just go and file whatever you want, get a divorce, and go be banging the neighbor by the next night. We totally agree on that. But to say that we should have...
And how do you avoid that? And how do you avoid that, the inevitable from happening? How do you avoid the inevitable from happening? You just abstain from it.
And in marriage is silly. It seems like you're completely pro-marriage. You're just anti-divorce. So why wouldn't you just throw your weight behind institutions where the divorce rate is the least, and you have an ecclesiastical structure which can be appealed to assist with that? That's what makes no sense to me.
My response to that is, if we're fifths, we beat all drunk. All right, so that's a scenario that just is present.
Can you explain the analogy for me?
Well, if we use if, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. If we say if we have a situation where this is present, then this would work. Well, that makes sense. If we had that,
we do have it right now.
Well, it doesn't necessarily work because, and I'm going to tell you why, because a woman can go to a divorce attorney and they can simply just say, hey, listen, it was a off the cuff, off the state divorce, but you got married within a certain state, or she filed in a certain state, so therefore the divorce goes on.
No,
absolutely,
okay.
yes.
Well,
listen, I've been with the divorce attorneys, and what they'll tell you is, hey, listen, you can get married in the ritual, you can get married in the orthodoxy, you can get married.
Either way you look at it, when you cohabitate with a woman, you end up having kids because you know it's inevitable. Y'all gonna be fucking raw. It's inevitable. Once you cohabitate, you're gonna have a child or two or three, depending on how reckless y'all are. You're gonna have children. So even if you don't marry her legally through the state, even if you don't marry her through the state, and the state that you live in is not common law, once you have children, you're still responsible for the children, even though you're not responsible for her legally. So all she has to do is go down to the family courts, which the laws are not designed for you.
Nope.
And they're going to tear your ass up. Because everybody in that courtroom, everybody in that family courtroom, from the judges to the bailiffs to the stenographers to the lawyers to your black ass to her, everybody's there to get in your pockets. And that's a fact.
Nope.
That's a fact. So either way you look at it, and this is what he's trying to convey to Andrew Wilson, you're going to deal with it regardless. All right? Even if your state doesn't recognize common law. Once the children are involved, it's curtains for your ass. You're going to be dealing with the bullshit. And by the time it gets to the stage where she wants to go to court, she's not going to go there and do it amicably. Did I say that right? I believe I did. Amicably. Let's keep it going.
Off record, but if she files and that woman is hell-bent on saying, We got married. I don't care if it was a ceremony where we walked on coals with our feet bare. That's considered a marriage. You also have common law. You have
And if she feels that, and if she's told by the attorney that she can get something out of it, she's gonna go through it, no matter how minimal it is. She's gonna go through it. She'll drag y'all ass to court for months and years just to get the bare minimum. If she's told and advised that she can't get something, the family court system is trash.
a lot of other ways for that.
And that right there ends the debate. That right there ends the debate. And the only way men should consider or may consider is if they change the family court laws. And what's the chances of that happening? What's the chances of them changing the family court law? Slim to none.
Woman to establish marriage.
How does your way eliminate common law?
I don't have any way to eliminate common law.
So
what
then,
I have is a way for men to avoid.
Well, then the
being
argument's
used
silly.
no, the argument's not silly. So here's what you have. You have a if proposition, which doesn't exist for most men. Most men aren't religious. Most men aren't looking to be under a religious orthodoxy. So it doesn't apply. So you're taking a moral standard or a religious standard to apply to people who aren't under that veil.
So let's start with a couple of things you said, which are fundamentally untrue. Most men are religious, in fact, including in this country. Most of them, not some of them.
But they're not religious.
Hang on. I didn't interrupt.
I understand, but maybe just take that point. Most aren't under your religion.
Okay.
We can agree with that.
So here's the thing, though. But Catholicism,
which changes that point, because now he's speaking from a way smaller umbrella than just religious men, because everybody's religion and sector is different and have different beliefs, which really makes it crazy. But the divisiveness, we know how divisive that is. That's for a whole nother stream.
and orthodoxy is growing rapidly. And if it's the case that the ecclesiastical structure is already there, which it is, right? If you're going to cohabitate with a woman, the thing that you're offering right now is common law marriage anyway, if there's cohabitation at all. You're not protecting anybody from that. At least under my model, it gives an ecclesiastical structure that's designed to prevent divorce by applying community pressure. That was the way it was always done. Apply the application of community pressure within the confines of the woman's social circle. Right now, do you agree with me, for instance, that many divorces happen because women like to yap? So you get a freshly divorced woman, and she's free. You go, girl.
No, divorces happen because they change their mind. That's why divorces happen. Because just like that, they're fickle creatures, and they change their mind. And they may change their mind a year or two before they even leave your ass. Yeah, community pressure. Like, who in the community is going to pressure anybody into getting married? And like, he's literally living in 1953 in his mind. Right? As smart as a guy as he is, all right? As smart as a guy as he is, he's in his brain, he's literally living in 1953. To think that what we're seeing in real time, right? What we see society is in real time, that somebody's going to actually change it.
Nope.
That some group is going to come together and slowly or quickly change the world. Right. Staying married, the pressure is to get out of it. Right. I like that comment, because guess what? People always try to encourage you to get married, right? You see all the people in the community, when you say you're going to get married as a man, they all for it, right? Everybody wishing you, oh yeah, go ahead. When that shit go bad, you can't find nobody in the church to help you do nothing.
Nope.
You can't find none of these people that was encouraging you to go down that hill and make you responsible for another whole human being who's only going to end up changing their minds at some point based on what? Statistics. And statistics, the stats don't lie. All right? Trends are trends. Trends are trends, and the stats don't lie. It's only a matter of time. The relationships are time sensitive. So why would you go into something thinking that you're going to be in it for a lifetime? Because as men, as men going into marriage, we really think like, listen, we packing it all up. It's got to be one woman because we got to force our nature. We got to force our nature in the opposite direction that God intended, right? Because we're bad. We're born bad, right? We're born bad. Right. Everybody goes in front of God for divorce. Exactly. God, when you get married, when you get divorced, you can't find God in the courtroom. You look for God in the church because you're getting married under false pretense. Shout out to the people who are actually living in reality. The people actually living in reality. Shout out to y'all. Can we get the likes up? Can we get the likes up?
Girl power. And she starts talking to her little friends, and she starts telling them how liberating it is and how great it is and this and that. And this is why when women have divorced friends, their likelihood of divorce actually rapidly increases. Go, girl power. And she starts talking to her little friends, and she starts telling them how liberating it is and how great it is and this and that. And this is why when women have divorced friends, their likelihood of divorce actually rapidly increases. It's for this reason. Divorce.
Women are natural born followers. They are natural born followers. They are meant to just follow their masculine counterpart. Right? This is what God intended. And this is not new. Women have always been fighting to get from under the structure of man. Everybody who claims to be Christian, saved, this has always been. It's nothing changed. Nothing's gonna change and nothing is changing it. The more freedom they have, the more they're gonna go opposite of structure. That's just a fact.
It's contagious.
So if it's the case that this social contagion is eliminated because now we have an ecclesiastical structure, an ecclesiastical authority, which won't grant it because you get ostracized from that social group through excommunication, for instance, or not being able to participate anymore with that community,
Correct.
That's an application of a serious and significant social pressure, which can do the...
Definitely killed his own argument. You hear him? Social pressure. What? Social pressure. What are you talking about? The government makes more money now taxing men and women single. And when they can tax y'all single, they make more money. So what social pressure is it to do this? I don't understand how he's going to reverse that. There's not enough faith and hope in the world that's going to change it.
Sized from that social group through excommunication, for instance, or not being able to participate anymore with that community, that's an application of a serious and significant social pressure, which can do the very thing you want. Bring back that great institution, absent the state, and it avoids this whole problem of common law marriage. Because if it's the case that you can be common law married anyway, inside of a state, and they can get grounds for divorce on that anyway, then we actually need to have some social pressures to prevent them from doing that. So it sounds like we agree marriage is awesome for men. Divorce is terrible for them. So it seems like we should be attacking the divorce structure here, and it doesn't seem like you actually have anything to do that.
But exactly. So until they change the marriage laws, it's a waste of time trying to fix anything. I agree with Coach Greg Adams. That's it. It's a waste of time. You're wasting your time. We living right now. You can't get time back. You can get $1 back. You can make $1 back. You can't get none of your time back. So he talking about shit that they're putting plans in place, man. This world, cars gonna be in the air in another 15 years. And the cars gonna be flying out here. Ain't nobody going back. Ain't nobody going back to that. The women are not going back to that. And they're the only ones who can fix the marriage and relationship situation that we got in the West. All right? That's a fact. I'm going to do a live stream on that too. Women are the only ones that could fix the situation. Ain't no men going and starting no community that women just going to start following. They follow the government. Whatever the government got to give them, right, to keep a man away, that's what they going to follow.
Then just avoid the thing that's great for you because this other bad side effect could happen.
Sure, that's
So
like
why don't
smoking
we-
cigarettes.
So why don't we attack the bad side effect when we have the mechanism to do it? It's not if, we can do it now.
Okay,
right
so
this
like
second.
smoking cigarettes is the same analogy you're saying. Okay, here, cigarettes in this situation, we obviously know it has negative side effects, so you would avoid it. Now, here's the issue that I have with it. It sounds great on paper, but we can't travel to the land of make-believe. It sounds great.
Man.
The majority of people.
Oh,
probably-
hell
and if
no.
you ask a guy, which this is an important part, they're not even prepared to even talk about that. They don't even know what divorce laws are. So you're asking them to travel to the land of make-believe under a marriage system that small percentage of people use. No one uses it today. You might have said they used it to the past. Today, that doesn't exist. So we can't travel to the land of make-believe to make marriage work for you. It
Well-
might work in your marriage, but it doesn't work for the greater structure.
Your argument here contradicts itself because on the
Nigga said, the land of make believe. CGA crazy, man.
one hand, you say men don't know enough about marriage, but my assumption is that your mission is to let men know about marriage.
Absolutely.
Okay, well then I don't understand how it's the land of make believe if you can let.
And that's the whole purpose for this channel. Men who can relate to married men, men who've been in long-term relationships, cohabitating under the same roof. This is the channel. This is the voice for those people. All right? If you can relate, you can. If you can, that's cool too.
them know about this, but I can't.
Sure.
Right.
And
So
you can offer
if,
that.
So if
You
I
can offer
am,
that.
it sounds like I'm offering a real alternative to what you're offering. And here's what you're offering. Men, marriage is great. It's a great institution. It's the best for children. These are your words. In marriage, right? Men seem to thrive. Their health seems to thrive. Everything seems to thrive. You're saying, well, the problem is that divorce rates are high, and they are. However, there's a few things there that you haven't covered. One, it depends on demographic too. For instance,
Absolutely.
if you're black, it's going to be way worse than if you're white.
Correct.
Okay, way worse. And also socioeconomics matters, right? Demographics in general matter. So you can do a lot, actually, including prenuptial agreements. You can have a prenuptial agreement with the ecclesiastical authority without the state even involved. And it seems like that would mitigate your risk to damn near nothing.
You said if about 50 times
So did
today.
you.
Now, here's what I'm telling you. I'm
So did
telling you
you.
when, all right? We're already in this system. You're going outside of the system. to
Real
create a
time.
scenario for me to argue
What
against.
system are you going outside of?
We're talking about marriage is typically done with the state. Almost everyone does it this way. So now
Typically is
you're
not-
here's hold
is
on for a
not
second. Hold on for a
must.
second. You've
Typically
moved the
doesn't mean
goalpost.
anything.
You've moved the goalpost to a scenario
Mhm.
of if, and you're arguing
is.
from the if. No,
Is.
hold on for a second. You're arguing from the if perspective.
It is perspective.
No, listen.
It is
Give
the
me a
is
chance to
perspective.
listen.
All right,
give
I'll
me a
give you the
chance.
Go ahead.
You're arguing from a very small percentage point. Now you're saying demographics, and we can talk about that, but you're still trying to get me to argue in your cloud of if. That's the land of make believe. Most people, by far, are married to the state. Not only that, your land of make believe
Mhm.
still exists. The prenup with the ecclesiastics, you can write whatever you want in that prenup. It only matters in the divorce. That's the reality. So I'm still
That's it.
dealing in reality.
So
You're
am
in
I.
the clouds. Hold on for a second. You're in the
Okay.
clouds.
And that comes, the only way you might make out is if you ain't got no children. Once the children are involved, how many people actually marry, cohabitating, and don't got no children? Very little. So you're gonna be fucked either way, man. You're gonna go through the motions eventually. It is inevitable.
So let's take the demographics.
Okay.
In your scenario, it sounds like, which would be fair, your primary concern is with white people.
No, it's with
Hold
all
on for a
people.
second. You said with black people, the demographics, the chance is higher.
Yeah.
So have you discovered the ecclesiastics approach to black people married within this?
Yes.
However, their demographics, economics,
Mhm.
which all do affect marriage, has nothing to do in the land of the clouds or the make-believe with ecclesiastics. It's all going to boil down to in the law. And there's no church reverend that's going to go into your household to make sure there's social pressure on your wife. Do you
So-
know
Yes,
any?
sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you know any that
So she ultimately, literally, she can do what she want to do once she got your ass under that paperwork.
Oh, hell no.
And guess what? She gonna do what she want to do because she knows she holds the power. And ultimately, because all relationships are time sensitive, I'm not here to debate that. You gonna go through the bullshit.
I can cover all marriages. That
Yes.
answer is no.
Yes. And by the way, when you keep
Are we in reality here?
I'm
or are we in
trying-
the clouds?
when
I mean,
you're-
we're
when
not
you're-
we're not arguing
I was
anything
just
legitimate.
trying. I was just
This
trying.
is in the land of make believe.
Well, when I'm
don't have
allowed to
enough-
respond, let me
Okay,
know.
give me a second.
Go ahead.
Let me finish this point.
Go ahead.
You're imagining.
Mhm.
Your imagination is great. John Lennon would be great.
Mhm.
You know, you would be proud of you at this particular point.
But I'm imagining all the people.
You're imagining all the people.
Subscribe to the
under a
channel.
situation and
Hit
a
that like
structure
button for
that
me.
you brought in here.
Mhm.
All right, but the state highly governs this, and the state highly governs divorce. I'm dealing in a reality situation where I'm trying to counsel men to give information to. The best thing you've told me is that you're willing to give men the option to do this. Are they willing to all do this option? The answer is probably not, just like they're not willing to do what I'm telling them to do. However, we're both attempting, which is a good thing. It's noble. However, your situation rarely exists. Can we talk about the reality of what exists?
Sure.
Absolutely. So let's take your moral religious crusade out of it and talk about the reality.
Yeah, let's.
Are you willing to do that?
Well,
no.
Here's the thing.
See, you're not willing to do that
Well,
because it's all based on your reality.
Guess what? It's a.
And you cannot argue hope and faith. You cannot argue that. People, you want to hide behind it like it's a shield. If anybody want to say what's reality and what's not reality, that's not reality. If you're not acknowledging it, what's going on in real time. Real time. Going back and try to get people organized to do this shit. What is that going to do right now? Nothing. I'm in the fourth quarter of my life. I don't give a shit. Really. They can have the future.
Debate, and I will argue my points from my view, how I see fit. It's not for you to govern.
But what I'm not going to do is expect
not
to
my
be arguing
government.
from the land of make believe.
Yeah, but it's
okay.
not, you
All
know,
right. So
okay, yeah,
anybody
my
have
turn? My turn.
Anybody
Relax.
have anybody have the sound effect for the television show where the train comes through, Mr. Rogers?
Let me know when
Because
you-
Oh,
I wanna be
hell
on
no.
Earth.
Yeah, let me know.
All
when
right,
you get
Let's
it.
let Andrew respond.
Yeah. So the thing is it's funny that you bring up "Imagine All the People" with John Lennon, which is an anti-religious song, and hilariously enough, was designed to assist with female empowerment. Isn't that hilarious? But the thing here is, you keep on saying that what I'm offering is make-believe, but it's not. It's been governing the Orthodox and Catholic Church for 2,000 years, including in this country. Now, here, let me give you an example, for instance, the Amish, right? Do you know what the divorce rate is among them? It's almost non-existent, yet they're still governed by the same laws of the land that you're speaking to. So sounds like if I give account...
Yeah, but the societies are different. The cultures are different. Their cultures are different, and that matters. Culture matters. So you can't even compare that. You can't compare any other country to America. You just can't.
If I say, look, I can give you a way, a methodology in which you can utilize the religious ecclesiastical institution which has existed for 2,000 years and has right now the lowest divorce rates, right this second as we speak, not in make-believe land, not hundreds of years in the future, right this second, as
How
opposed
many?
to the system you have of common law divorce, which is sky high, and you can't do anything about it. That's what is true. So pointing out what is true is right now you can have a prenup. That is true. What is true is prenups are usually held up in court. That is true. What is true is that you can have a marriage outside of a state because it's a religious institution anyway. You never have to have a license with the state. It's never been necessary. And if you do, the only way that can be done is if it's sacramental. And if it's sacramental, it's governed now by the church. That's going to be the community the women are a part of. And so the thing is like, that sounds like a real viable solution. What's yours? More fucking degeneracy? Go out.
What is the chances of that happening? What are the chances of that happening? That's why he keeps saying pie in the sky ideas. What is the chances of that happening? If you just look around what's going on in society in this country, how can you even bring that up. That's his hope and wishing.
Play the field, hump a lot of chicks. How's that going to help anybody do anything? That's been the progressive mantra for 100 years. Isn't it wonderful? Your turn.
All right, we're returning back to Earth. Now, first things first, when it comes to this, back in reality, there's no God in marriage. So, Mr. Sky Daddy, God, religion, that's all great, but there's no God in marriage. At this particular point, when you go through a marriage, if one person decides to not obey the Holy Bible or whatever you're thumping, you have no basis to keep that marriage together. If she decides to leave the church and decides not to listen or excommunicate herself, she's now under the state.
Agree.
Now, when you're getting divorced, which I'm assuming you've been divorced.
Well, I mean, that's a hell of an assumption to make.
Have you been divorced?
Well, I mean,
have you been married?
Can you tell me if
You
you
wanna
can
answer
tell
the
me
question?
how that has any merit?
Give me
to
a
the
second,
debate?
because if you've been through one, you would know.
Why would that not be a viable question? Y'all sitting here talking about, is marriage worth it? And you can't answer the question if you've been divorced or not? That's part of the whole conversation.
That there's no God in the divorce court, in the
I
family
see.
court. There's no God in there. No one asked you.
There is the state in there.
There is the state. So that's what
No
we're
God.
arguing from.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
when you get married. So you're telling me if, and I'm telling you, well, this is what's going to happen. Even if you took Sky Daddy into court with you, they would say you pray to the judge.
How-
The judge is the authority in the court.
Exactly.
So the God argument is a nice, interesting argument. And I probably am not going to stay on the conversation very long because that's your God. That's your Sky Daddy. That's your religion. I have a different religion. So who
What does that
gives
have to
you
do with
the
anything?
listen? Who gives you the authority to change the understanding, the conversation to your religion? That's your religion.
I'm not changing the conversation.
Okay,
anything.
so it only
We're
works
talking
if
about,
it only works if you believe in your Sky Daddy. That's the only way it works, and that's the only way you're going to advise
well,
men.
We're talking about mitigating risk.
No. We're talking about, can men get into a marriage today only under your Sky Daddy? That's what we're assuming.
Is it worth it? That's what the title of the debate is. The title of the debate is marriage worth it? One man talking about how he's going to fix the situation. He's not saying whether it's worth it or not. He's trying to bring up, crazy ideas of whether a situation is people going back to the church, which we know is not going to happen. People are watching. People are going to church. People are going to church literally from their bedroom. People are sitting in their bedroom and they in church in their bedroom on YouTube. So, which means that, which is nothing wrong with that, which means that you think the church is going to come back together? Technology is bringing people, is separating people. People are becoming antisocial. The church don't even go to church no more. They watch church from their living room. So, based off what he's saying, he's crazy.
Okay.
Now, can they do it otherwise?
Yeah, you can have secular marriage.
Okay, go ahead and explain.
Okay, yeah.
Make it work.
I just did. So
Make it work.
The argument that you have is that marriage is great. It's a great institution.
We already covered this.
Well, what made it great?
We already covered
What
this.
made it great?
Can we go into why it would make it work for your secular? That's the question I ask you. You're asking me questions back. Go ahead and answer the question.
So if you're talking about secular marriage, there's never been any point to it.
I'm sorry?
There's never been any point to secular marriage, ever. Never. What would ever be the point of secular marriage? It's always been a religious institution. That's what made it great. Now, when you say it's a great institution, what made it great for secularists, other than the fact that Sky Daddy and God had all these enforcement arms and those things had to be enforced socially? Like, for instance, men weren't allowed to run away. And women, right, they had to show cause for these divorces. And they had to be good causes. They had to show it for things like infidelity, right? It was all biblically governed. It was all lawfully governed by this Sky Daddy guy you like so little.
Right. And once the no-fault divorce came in the 70s, what did women do? They had the option to get away from their men, no fault, take either half or a large percentage of their shit, and get up out of there. That's the part he ain't bring up.
But that's what made the institution great in the first place. And what you're talking about here, you're making a point that divorce is bad. And yet, I agree, divorce is bad. So what we're really talking about is how do we mitigate the risk for divorce? And we have two different methods here.
Well, the conversation
The
is
method-
marriage good for men. That's the conversation.
But it is. We already said it's good for men. That's not even in dispute.
And now, how do we make it better since they're avoiding
Well,
it?
it
Since
sounds
men or women
like-
are avoiding it.
It sounds like the thing that you think makes it bad is divorce, not marriage.
Correct.
Then we need to mitigate divorce.
We're 15 minutes in, and we are in the land of reality. You finally called up. Can you tell
I've been
me
here the whole
how
time.
we can get to the so you're dragging your
So
feet.
again, secular. There's never been any point to secular marriage ever.
Now listen, marriage is for child creation. It would be great for child
No,
community
it's
and
not
all
just
of
for
these
that.
things. And now listen, by the time the religious aspects got into marriage, they were chopping people's heads off and burning Bibles. So listen, I know we want to take it back to the past.
So basically, I'm in it right there. They're basically arguing two opposite ends of the spectrum. One man is arguing ideas that they can do to actually fix something, fix marriage, which is unfixable. And then you got one man who's actually saying to avoid the inevitable, this is what I do, this is how I live, this is what I would do, which is the free agent lifestyle. Everybody may not agree with it, just like everybody may not agree with marriage under the state. Me personally, I wouldn't advocate for nobody to get married under the state. If I can do it all over again, why? Why would I? Why would you put yourself back through that same situation again after you've been through it? For the sake of love? That ain't gonna work.
Oh, hell no.
That ain't gonna work. So, overall, the debate was okay. I think they could have got to more topics as far as marriage, sexless marriage, other aspects that, finances, other things that cause marriages to go bad, and would question, is marriage worth it? Right? They didn't get into all that. It got kind of like, it got kind of snarky. They were taking shots at each other, but, whatever. Anyway, like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Monogamy is an illusion, and all relationships are time sensitive. I'm not here to argue that. Catch you on the next one, man.